Hold on, bear with me, guys. For some reason, this is not working. Hold on 1 second. Let me get this situated, and then we will dive into it. What the hell is going on? My screen will not come up. Hold on, I see you all in the chat. Steven Cicero, Joker Miner, all you guys. Give me 1 second. I apologize. Get some music on while we're waiting. All right. Why, oh why is this not working? Try to transition this again. Nope, not working. See my chat box, right? What the hell's going on here? Hold the phone. Bear with me. Camera's on. Camera's on. It's not. It's like it's the capture on this freaking Chrome tab. Apparently, nope. That's not that. Let's do this one. There we go. I don't know why that changed on me. That was weird. All right. Anyways, welcome back to the Daily Grind. Good morning. Good to see you guys. I don't know why the hell that switched. That hasn't done that in forever. All right, let's see who else is here. Leo Lustig, Rud Puts, Nerd Beast. Good to see you all. We have Zapirate, Lorenzo. What's up, man? All Set Miners, Crypto Frank, my man. Good to see you, buddy. Golden Wolf, Max Voltage. Good morning. Hopefully you ate your Raisin Bran this morning with that extra scoop, so you're not so bitchy. Dumpster Fire, Chadwick's Racing. I'm totally just trolling Max. Just joking. All right. Anyways, let's check out the market, see how things are today. Over here, we are looking like 30,843 Bitcoin, up 1.53%. We have Ethereum 1893. Let's see. Dogecoin is at 6.5 cents. Litecoin 96 bucks. XRP 47 cents. Now let's see. Joker Miner has been a member for 9 months, dude. Appreciate you, buddy. He said amateur hour. I see 9 months strong. 9 months strong. Appreciate it, buddy. I do. All right, let's check out earner of the day. FTT token 18.2%. What is happening? Why do people still invest in this shit? I don't understand it. Makes no sense to me. Do you guys have any FTX token? Any of you in the chat? Please just let me know. Put a 1 in the chat if you do. And yeah, you don't have to answer if you don't, but I don't understand it. I don't get why it's coming back or something. Something's happening. Anyways, check out the Fear and Greed Index today, and then we'll get into the stories. We're at the greed. Wow, it's actually green, 64. That's kind of surprising. I was not expecting that. All right, let's see what we got. Top 10 coins, coin market cap, as always. We have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, BNB, USD Coin, XRP, Lido Staked Ether, Cardano, Dogecoin, and Solana. Litecoin still in 11th. Still in 11th. All right. Let's get into this because I started a bit late today. We're going to be jumping into CNBC television. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask in the live chat. We have Coinbase shares rise amid Bitcoin ETF optimism. UK cracks down on crypto ATMs, and CNBC Crypto World. Yeah, apparently they removed crypto ATMs. So I want to see what is said about this because I didn't have a chance to listen to it. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask. Let's do it.
Today, UK regulators shut down crypto ATMs they say operate illegally. The DOJ alleges a Moroccan national faked an OpenSea website to steal crypto and NFTs, and Sachin Jaitley of Morgan Creek breaks down the rise in central banks holding crypto.
Stream should be all set, Duke Nukem. If you go to your settings and change the quality, it might did like an auto shit for you.
Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Jordan Smith. Major cryptocurrencies got a small boost this morning, with Bitcoin trading above $30,500 and Ether trading at $1,871. Solana, however, jumped more than 4.5% to $22.13. And a quick mention for Coinbase over on Wall Street, that stock was up more than 11% as of noon Eastern, thanks to more institutions choosing the crypto exchange as the surveillance partner for spot Bitcoin ETFs. All right, let's talk about the top stories. The Department of Justice just charged a Moroccan national with stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars through a fake OpenSea marketplace. The U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York accused Sufyan Olahian of creating a fake login page for OpenSea and paying for ads to make his fake marketplace appear at the top of search results.
Did you guys hear about this? Isn't that crazy? Fake OpenSea website. It was mimicking it exactly, and people were losing their shit. That's so crazy.
Victims would put in their login details, and the credentials were allegedly sent to his email address. The DOJ claims Oluhian was able to transfer crypto and NFTs from one victim's wallet, totaling $448,000.
That's
Next,
crazy.
Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville is asking the SEC and DOJ to investigate crypto company Prometheum. In a letter to Attorney General Merrick Garland and SEC Chair Gary Gensler, Tuberville claimed the company's ties to China and the country's Communist Party through its partner Wan Xiang were deeply concerning. The senator also claimed the company's co-CEO Aaron Kaplan may have provided false testimony before Congress during a hearing on June 13th, when he said the company doesn't use resources from its Chinese affiliates as of December 2019. Tuberville pointed to the SEC filings from Prometheum in 2020 and 2021, which said the company relied on its Chinese partners. In fact, Tuberville pointed to a filing from Prometheum in 2020 that said losing its Chinese partner would have a material adverse effect on the company's ability to develop, operate, or maintain the Prometheum network. Now, in a statement to CNBC, Prometheum said it did not misrepresent its relationship with Wan Xiang. The statement went on to say, quote, "We determined in early 2020 the co-development of technology was not viable, and in order to avoid corporate and litigation risk, sought to create value from our relationship." In its written testimony, Prometheum clearly states that joint development with Wan Xiang and its affiliates formally ended in October 2021. Last, the UK's Financial Conduct Authority just revealed it shut down 26 crypto ATMs since the beginning of this year,
26.
citing unlawful operation as the cause. This comes
Now, real quick, these ATMs, right? You see them in gas stations and stuff around the US. It's I'm wondering if they will crack down on the ATMs around here. What do you guys think? And yeah, I just stay away from NFTs in general, but the OpenSea is kind of, yeah, it's a mess.
After the agency announced its crackdown in February, issuing a warning that no crypto ATMs were registered by the UK as part of its anti-money laundering regulations and therefore were operating illegally. The new announcement emphasized the risk of losing deposits and that if something were to go wrong, it was unlikely that customers could get in touch with the ATM operator.
I still don't understand how these work. Has anybody purchased Bitcoin from an ATM or taken money out of the Bitcoin ATM? I don't understand. Like, it's weird. It's very strange to me how it works. I know there's some people that have videos and stuff on it, but let me know if you guys have used an ATM. I kind of want to try it just for shits.
As part of the announcement, the FCA's Joint Executive Director of Enforcement and Market Oversight said to crypto ATM users that you are using a machine that is operating illegally and you may be handing your money over to criminals.
So someone just said they make a digital wallet. Said crypto franc fees are higher. ATM skimmers. Yeah, that's another thing I'd be nervous about it. Yeah, so it made a video a long time ago. Yeah, that's what I thought.
He also reiterated the FCA's commitment to continue taking action against unregistered crypto ATM operators. All right, on to our main story. As many countries pay close attention to the crypto industry, more and more central banks around the world are holding crypto too. Crypto World's Tanay Akil spoke to Morgan Creek's Sachin Jaitley to have him explain the trend.
You've done this research showing 11 sovereign nations either hold or have held crypto in their central banks, with the US being the biggest holder. So you did this research, and I know that you can explain it, but I think that many would be surprised actually to hear that stat about the US. Can you tell us a little bit about Washington's Bitcoin holdings, why they have it, how they got it, what they're doing with it?
Interesting. Oh, well, they stole it from Mount Cox. He's not going to say that, though. Real quick, I don't know if you guys read it. I read something. I'm pretty positive it was about Elon Musk saying that all currency is going to go digital by like 2030, which is kind of interesting. I wonder what your guys' thoughts on that are.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. As I suspect you and your audience well know, there is a element around Bitcoin, a discussion around Bitcoin as an inflationary hedge. And it includes properties that equal everything that gold can deliver, but few more properties that can enhance that asset and become a more effective hedge against inflation. So over the last decade, some nations, including the US, were starting to obtain Bitcoin through seizure of illegal activities, right? So just to put a data point around this, one of the data analytics companies in our industry, Chain Analysis, reported that about 2% of all transactions are within illegal activity in our industry, or outside of our industry, I should say. And so those were obtained through governments. The US was no exception. They were starting to stockpile Bitcoin in our treasury over the past decade, since roughly 2014, 2015. And they came into quite a bit. So through that,
you just hear them basically say that they took Bitcoin or crypto from people that were, illegal activities. So yeah, they just, I don't know. Oh, Silk Road. That's what I meant to say, not Mt. Gox. So yeah, they probably just confiscated a shit ton from Silk Road and just they're holding on to it and it's getting passed around. But I don't know, kind of strange. And I apologize if this guy's a bit quiet. It is on my end too, and I can't fix it. So if it's any issues, just let me know.
Process, there was a discussion about, well, what is the U.S. and other nations, by the way, I identified 11 nations that hold Bitcoin as a part of their treasury today or have held. And so the discussion was, what are they going to do with this asset now that they have it? And there was different motivations from different nations around what they were going to do and why they were holding this asset. But in the U.S.'s perspective, my suspicion is that they wanted to hold on to this asset as it was increasing in value. It was in our national interest, it was in our national security to do so and not have potentially other countries, perhaps even adversarial countries, obtain more of this asset than us.
We have heard, and like you said, we talk so much about this idea that Bitcoin is a hedge against inflation in the investing community. And I think that many investors in that community today find that narrative pretty debatable. So based on your research, what is it that that might be clicking for these central banks that's not quite clicking for investors on an individual basis? What are they seeing in that inflation narrative that some of us might be missing?
Sure. So I do want to be clear, although my research does support and showcase that there is statistical relationship between the increases in money supply, the increases in inflation, and sovereign adoption, there's other motivations at play. This is a multifaceted approach that many nations are taking, and there's no one cookie cutter kind of solve for all of this. But to answer your question, let's walk through. In my research, I've identified 5 different motivations for why nations are adopting. I'll just touch base on a few of them, right? I won't go through all of it. But one of the motivations are as a national competitive advantage. As I was describing earlier, if you ran a game theory analysis across 5 nations, let's just say the BRIC nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and the US, you would want to analyze how Bitcoin holdings would be adopted across those nations. You may want to understand of the assets that they have on hand today, would they want to sell off and allow other nations, in this analysis, other nations to obtain this asset that could be very valuable in the future? Another motivation is around as a dollarization or a reserve asset across the world. So countries that dollarize with the US dollar, there's many benefits to it, right? The US dollar is stable, it's globally accepted, and you can grow your economy with that as an emerging market. But there's downside to it as well. The downside is the US now has leverage in public policy negotiation with that emerging market. And we're seeing evidence that some nations don't want to have that leverage over their head. They are trying to deleverage within these public policy negotiations. And last but not least, another motivation here is around inflation and money supply as the driving forces around the adoption. So in my research, I was able to prove out that as money supply increases, as inflation increases, so too does cryptocurrency adoption. And in this case, I define cryptocurrency as Bitcoin. And something that's very important to note here is that sovereign governments around the world own about, let's call it a little bit less than 1% of all Bitcoin in circulation today. What's going to happen when that percentage goes to 2%? 3%, 4%, 5%, right? There's that seismic shifts in adoption around the world, and which would cause great demand for Bitcoin, which would cause price action as well.
Here at CNBC, we talk all day about the price, what's driving that, and what's driving price versus what's driving adoption. So I know you've said that inflation is a big overarching theme, and then there are some nuances by country, but how do we get to that seismic shift?
I think it's happening in real time. And let's just share some data points here, right? So the global population there's three categories: retail, corporate, and sovereign, in my opinion, right? And so on a retail level, we're talking about somewhere in the magnitude of about 3 to 5% of the world's population on a retail level own Bitcoin today, right? That is a significant number. On a corporate level, and I'm speaking specifically of publicly traded companies, there's roughly 40 companies today that own Bitcoin on their balance sheet. This includes the like of SpaceX, Tesla, Block, Grayscale, and many others, right? And it's important that we all are aware of this, right? This is happening. This is not just a theoretical construct that people are talking about. People are actually purchasing it and putting it on their balance sheet. And now we're talking about sovereigns. There is the population of sovereign countries is roughly, let's just call it 200 countries in the world. 11 of them today, we have been able to identify, at least have hold or have held Bitcoin on their sovereign treasuries. Right? These are real numbers, right? That are not talking about something that's happening 10 years from now. This is happening today. And what we're seeing here, the headlines around the ETFs are only going to accelerate this trend. The headlines around nations in the world that are looking for alternative reserve assets, looking for alternative hedges against inflation, are taking place in real time, and those adoption cycles and themes are occurring.
Okay, that's all for
interesting. So the banks, with them getting to well, I feel like they're very upset about just in general, like being kind of in the I guess on the tail end of actually accumulating Bitcoin, because now that everybody's starting to get into it, it's like a race to get as much as you can, which is half the reason why the government's so pissed off about everybody having it. But whatever. All right, we're gonna listen to Mr. Coin Bureau over here. Mr. Guy over at Coin Bureau, rather, coming for your crypto. The IMF tax report says it all. So I want to see what he has to say. I'm gonna pump this up, playback speed to 1.25. If you guys have any issues, please let me know, and let's go from there.
They are coming for your crypto. By they, I mean the International Monetary Fund, and they want to get at your crypto through taxation. By taxation, I mean not only taxes on your unreported crypto gains, but also on any crypto activities, such as mining, considered to be, quote, carbon intensive. Potential tactics for extracting these taxes were discussed in a recent report by this international organization, a report which foreshadows a global crackdown on crypto revenues of all kinds. So today, we're going to summarize this report, reveal what crypto tax laws could be coming to your country, and which countries will be the least likely to comply. This is a video you cannot afford to miss.
Nerd Beast in the chat says, all I want this Christmas is a whole BTC. Speaking of crypto mining, by the way, if you guys didn't know, so it's Amazon Prime deals. Go over to Retro Mike Tech's channel, and he has a video that you can mine Veriscoin with cell phones. And they have cell phones on sale for like $35, like these track phones. Yeah, you just use them to mine, and it's kind of, I guess they have a 90-day ROI or something. I bought 5 of them last night, so we'll see. I'll set them up in the trailer. They're 3 watts. Can't really go wrong. Pretty cheap, $180 or something for the 5. So whatever. If you guys are interested, feel free to go check it out. Mr. Retro Mike, if you want, you know what? I'll go to your channel and I'll pull that link for you, and I'll put it in the chat. Give me a second.
The report we'll be summarizing today is aptly titled, quote, Taxing Cryptocurrencies. It was published by the International Monetary Fund, or IMF, earlier this month, and I'll leave a link to the report in the description. I'll also quickly note that the IMF has significant influence over countries around the world. This is primarily due to the loans the IMF issues to developing countries, loans that come with lots of conditions, such as discouraging the adoption of cryptocurrency, as was the case with Argentina. These conditions likely come from the IMF's voting countries, the largest of which is the United States. And you can learn more about how the US controls international organizations like the IMF and World Bank by watching our summary of Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen's recent testimony. The link to that will be down in the description. Spoiler, it appears that the US is behind a lot of these anti-crypto initiatives. So, with all that said, the report begins with a brief introduction wherein the authors refer to crypto's growth as, quote, frenetic. For those unfamiliar, frenetic, according to Google, means, quote, fast and energetic in a rather wild and uncontrolled way. Hard to disagree with their choice of wording there. The authors then note that around 20% of the US population has held or continues to hold crypto. They estimate that the total number of crypto holders globally is over 400 million. Now, if you think this means you're late, the authors make it clear you're not. Crypto's market cap is 3% of all stocks. The authors then present a somewhat cartoonish representation of pro-crypto talking points before presenting some equally outlandish anti-crypto talking points. For example, quote, "The deepest scam of all, to critics, is that all this is on the basis of assets whose creation creates significant environmental damage and, in many cases, have no intrinsic value." Yikes. The authors go on to explain that regulators around the world are having a hard time balancing the advantages and disadvantages of cryptocurrency. They highlight the fact that tax authorities face the difficult task of making all the current and future activities of crypto fit into existing tax regimes. Now, this wording is significant because it implies that crypto ought to be integrated into existing tax regimes and shouldn't have its own tax regime. It ties into the same risk, same regulation philosophy that's been parroted by almost all international organizations when discussing any kind of crypto regulation. Some would argue that crypto requires its own regulations, be they tax-related or otherwise. This is something that pro-crypto politicians have been pushing for around the world, and that's been done successfully in some countries, such as...
Real quick, I just put Retro Mike Tech's video in the chat and I pinned it. There is a link in his description that I cannot copy for some reason and put it in the live chat. So if you guys are interested in those phones, click on his link and go get those over on Amazon. But that's a full setup video on how to mine Veriscoin with cell phones. It's kind of interesting.
Slovakia, which recently introduced a crypto-specific tax rate. As far as the authors of this report are concerned, however, crypto should be taxed the same as other assets, quote, with an eye to the implications for the taxation of the rich. In other words, we need to go after wealthy crypto holders. The authors subsequently state that they are not trying to dictate crypto tax policy. Anyway, they then admit that existing tax systems were not designed for digital assets. They acknowledge that some cryptos could be considered currencies and not assets per se, in which case an entirely different set of taxes applies. They hint that additional regulatory intervention is required first. The authors then note that, quote, crypto assets provide a new and important way for the rich, criminal, and other to evade or avoid taxation. At the same time, however, they cite a study by the Bank for International Settlements, the bank for central banks, which found that 75% of crypto users lost money. What they don't cite is the reality that 100% of fiat holders lose money every day as their purchasing power is eroded by central banks and governments. True. In any case, the authors suggest forcing cryptocurrencies to enforce tax regulations at the blockchain level using smart contracts. Now, this sounds ridiculous until you remember that Ethereum developers proposed a new standard recently that would make this kind of compliance possible. Probably nothing. Anyway, speculation aside, the authors then make the outrageous claim that, quote, empirical analysis around a complex technology whose central purpose is to leave no tracks is inherently difficult. This is outrageous because almost all crypto transactions are publicly viewable and therefore traceable. Newsflash, but blockchain analytics companies can track every crypto transaction you've ever made. And if you've ever used a centralized exchange or fiat to crypto on-ramp that requires KYC, they can find out who you are. You can learn more about how these companies are tracking you using the link in the description. Now, in the second part of the report, the authors provide some context about crypto. What's interesting is that they put NFTs at one extreme of the crypto spectrum and central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, at the other extreme. Newsflash number 2, CBDCs are not cryptocurrencies. More about the differences between them in the description. I digress. Now, it seems the authors use this spectrum to underscore the fact that digital assets like NFTs should be taxed as assets, whereas digital currencies such as CBDCs should be taxed as, well, currencies. Oddly enough, the authors subsequently, quote, set aside these categories since they're easy to tax. Quote, the focus instead is on crypto assets that potentially serve both an investment and a settlement function and are privately issued. This is the author's definition of cryptocurrency. They note that cryptos are the most common type of digital assets and give stablecoins, BTC, and ETH as examples. As far as taxes go, the authors are less concerned about stablecoins and more concerned about BTC, ETH, and other so-called non-stablecoins that, quote, have no intrinsic value. Even so, the authors acknowledge that stablecoins can experience volatility, meaning that there are taxable events there too. The authors then go on to imply that cryptocurrency was explicitly designed to evade taxes and enable illicit financial activity due to its pseudonymous nature. For context, pseudonymous means that wallet addresses aren't connected to your identity by default. Again, this is changing as KYC becomes more common. Ironically enough, the authors seem to be hyper-aware of crypto's traceability. Quote, "A second important feature of cryptocurrencies is that, unlike cash, they are remarkably transparent in the sense that these and other details of all transactions on a particular coin are publicly available." The authors then discuss how it's possible to connect wallet addresses to identities and seem to reveal which wallets they want to be identified the most. Quote, "Those likely held by exchanges, for example, or those likely held by miners, those involved in ransomware attacks, or those likely having close connection with the darknet. If you're in any of these categories, the IMF is a-comin' for you." Naturally, the authors argue that crypto taxes need to be international because of crypto's international nature. This can make it impossible to know whether a crypto transaction should be taxed in one jurisdiction or another. An easy solution here, I suppose, would be to focus on the fiat side. The authors explain that there are 3 ways to trade crypto: peer-to-peer, using a decentralized exchange, or using a centralized exchange. The authors note that crypto payments aren't prevalent yet, but they are growing in popularity, 15 million USD per day versus 550 billion USD total. The authors give some more stats related to crypto adoption. Crypto is used the most in Vietnam, the Philippines, Ukraine, and India, and the countries with the most crypto holders as a percentage of the population are the UAE at 28%, Vietnam at 26%, and the US at 13%. I wonder where Nigeria is.
Interesting.
Regardless, the authors then pivot to the opposite end of the crypto spectrum, and that's the crypto rich. They cite a study which found that there were over 1,200 crypto millionaires in the United States, which isn't all that much. The authors also note that many of these crypto millionaires were rich already. The bros don't mention that on crypto Twitter, do they? What's fascinating is that they also found that of the millionaires who hold crypto as part of their portfolios, a whopping 2/3 hold more than half of their wealth in crypto. They also cite another study which found that there were as many as 100,000 crypto millionaires in the United States. Well, I suppose it depends on when the study was conducted, doesn't it? Now, if you're wondering who holds the most BTC, the authors cite a statistic about that too. It's estimated that 10,000 individuals, that's people, not corporations, hold 5 million BTC. Given that around 20% of all BTC has been lost, this means that 10,000 people hold almost a third of BTC's supply.
10,000 people own a third of Bitcoin supply. That's crazy to think about.
Obviously, the authors are obsessed with finding out who these 10,000 people are so they can be taxed into oblivion. Don't think you're safe, though. The authors also note that lots of less wealthy people hold crypto. Depending on which country you live in, the taxman won't hesitate to come after you, too. This ties into the third part of the report, and that's how crypto should be taxed, according to the IMF. The authors start by saying that cryptos should be taxed in a neutral manner, but then immediately say that it's difficult to tax cryptos in a neutral manner due to their unique nature. Okay then. Regarding crypto income, the authors then say that crypto can be either taxed as property or as a foreign currency. They explain that property typically comes with a capital gains tax, i.e. you pay tax on any gains you made when you sell versus when you bought. And foreign currencies typically have no taxes attached. The authors suggest there's a third way that crypto could be taxed, and that's to treat it as gambling-related gains. Now this would actually be ideal because poker chips apparently aren't securities, and they're clearly not currencies. As such, crypto being taxed as gambling could protect it from worse regulations. Fortunately or unfortunately, the authors say that crypto is typically taxed as property in most countries. Even then, there's lots of variation. Some countries don't tax crypto gains if you sell after holding for more than some time, and other countries don't tax crypto gains until they're converted back to fiat. The authors highlight India as a special case because every single crypto transaction is taxed there regardless of whether there was a capital gain, and you're also not able to declare a crypto loss. Ouch. Regarding crypto sales, it appears that most countries do not charge value-added tax or VAT on crypto purchases. If I understand correctly, the authors try to argue that all crypto mining revenue should be subject to VAT, but admit that financial services aren't subject to VAT, so mining shouldn't be either.
These are all Antminer S9s. Look at this. You think those are S9s? What do you guys think those are? Or are they L3s? I wonder. They gotta be Bitcoin. No way. No way are they L3s.
Shouldn't be either. So many contradictions. Now, the authors then switch and focus on a few so-called externalities. They note that crypto's similarity to gambling could justify imposing higher taxes to discourage investment and use. They note that the same can be done if countries are worried about crypto replacing their fiat currencies. Some would say this is exactly what India is doing, but let's not go there.
I'm going to be honest, right? So like that's half the reason I don't trade, or I don't want to get into trading, because I don't want to deal with all the tax bullshit. Because you're just going to lose money in the taxes overall. I mean, at least that's what I think. What do you guys think about like the way crypto's taxed now. I mean, I guess, I don't know. It's just strange, right? I feel like whatever you buy crypto at, yeah, I understand. Like, okay, so pay taxes on that, right? And then you should pay taxes when you cash it out, not like all the ups and downs in between, right? So I don't know. It's just strange, but that's like the main reason I won't get into trading is because I don't want to deal with like the extra tax steps and all that bullshit. It's just crazy.
The authors go as far as arguing that harsh crypto taxation could be an effective tool to keep crypto under control while other crypto regulations are crafted. Lo and behold, the authors point to India's harsh crypto taxation and claim that it, quote, pioneers this tax enforcement approach.
Exactly. Yeah, that's how I feel as a pirate. Same thing. I pay only when converting to fiat. I mean, that's, yeah. It's like I have a long-term holding, and I my wallet that I use daily is the one that I put into my what's it called? God, I can't even think of it. The tax form, right? So when you fill out the tax form at the end of the year, you're like, I got the stuff that I paid taxes on, and I send it to this place, and that stays over here, and I, you know what I mean, deal with the rest of it. And that's what you like mainly pay taxes on. But I'm trying to like keep stuff in holdings to get rid of the capital gains, because if you hold it over, what is it? Is it over a year or is it 2 years? For crypto, I can't remember. I feel like it's over a year, but I don't know why I think 2. I think 2 is like the whole house thing to skirt capital gains, if I'm not mistaken. But regardless, you want to try to keep most of your crypto in like a wallet where you hold it for more than a year or something, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, you can skirt capital gains that way, you know, but you still have to pay taxes on it at the end of the year, over a year. Okay, thank you, Fully Electric. That's what I thought.
The authors then go one step further by arguing that this corrective taxation is most appropriate for environmental reasons.
Steven Cicero said 366 days, so yeah, a day over a year. Makes sense.
They cite a statistic which notes that Bitcoin and Ethereum mining account for 0.3% of global greenhouse gas emissions, seemingly ignoring that Ethereum is now proof of stake. This statistic also comes from a study that hasn't even been published yet. I suspect it won't look all that different from the study that originally caused all the climate alarmism around crypto during the previous bull market. You can find out why it was all smoke and mirrors using the link in the description.
All right, hold on. Let me see this. All right, so cryptocurrency is subject to ordinary income and capital gains tax. Ordinary income is subject to tax between 10 and 37%. Capital gains from cryptocurrency held for less than 12 months is subject to tax between 10 and 37%. Capital gains from cryptocurrency held for longer than 12 months is subject to tax between 0 and 20%. Okay, so yeah, anything over 12 months, 0 and 20%. So that's why you always want to, you know, if you have a big chunk of, say, Bitcoin that you're trying to hold, and you know you're not going to sell it until, you know, the all-time high, take that out of your like checking account wallet and put it into your savings account wallet, and just kind of put that wallet aside. You know what I mean? And just keep it there until at least after the 12 months. So you're saving a minimum of 17% on the whole taxes that you're going to get whacked with. So I don't know. That's at least in my opinion. That's what I do.
Now, as you might have guessed, the authors note President Biden's recent proposal to tax proof-of-work mining as one example of how corrective taxation could be applied to crypto. What they don't note is that this would require tracking what every computer in the country is doing. Total state surveillance. Failing this, the authors say, authorities could deny income tax deductions related to crypto mining operations. They don't even say why all these restrictions are justified. They just assume that the reader understands that crypto is destroying the planet when the opposite is true. Topic for another time. Anyways, in the fourth part of the report, the authors discuss crypto tax evasion and, quote, revenue potential, because governments and central banks printing money out of thin air just isn't enough. They start by admitting that tax evasion is low on the list of concerns for crypto's use in illicit activity. The authors even admit that there isn't much data on how much crypto is used to evade taxes, which is probably why they spend lots of unnecessary time talking about crypto's use in other illicit activities that have absolutely nothing to do with taxation.
Facts.
It's literally just an excuse to bash crypto.
Right.
The only thing that really stuck out to me was, quote, what is also clear is that cryptocurrencies continue to innovate towards increasing anonymity.
Well, also, like the fact that they bash on crypto, when you want to accumulate something or as much as you can, you're going to shit on it so people get away from it so you can get as much as you can. And that's truly what I think is happening, to be honest, in the past year.
This is a peculiar statement given that crypto hasn't exactly been rushing towards privacy, but institutions have started to demand more privacy in crypto. As a fun fact, institutions want privacy in crypto more than us plebs, and it's possible that they will be the ones that ensure it becomes legal in most countries. Of course, We're a long way away from that. The institutions have yet to come in droves, and the crackdown on privacy coins continues, for now. Anyhow, the authors eventually return to the topic this section is actually about, and that's tax evasion with crypto. They provide a description of all the different kinds of crypto transactions that could be used to evade taxes before saying, quote, little is firmly known about any of these. Now, rather than provide any statistics, the authors seem to imply that crypto's characteristics must mean that it's being used for tax evasion. The only concrete statistics the authors can provide are related to centralized exchanges and intermediaries in India and Hong Kong. The authors actually tried to come up with a statistic by pointing out a discrepancy between the 1% of crypto holders in the United States who reported capital gains versus the 10 to 20% of US citizens who reported holding crypto. Even then, they admit that this underreporting could be due to losses or hodling, no realized gains. The authors also cite statistics from the UK, but admit that, quote, many holdings were so small that any gain would almost certainly be below the exempt amount. This time, they cite an unspecified group of crypto holders in the UK who they believe are evading taxes, but can't provide an actual number. As a last-ditch attempt, the authors tried to analyse crypto transactions at the end of the year for potential evidence of crypto tax loss harvesting. Alas, they couldn't even buy their own BS. That didn't stop them from concluding that there's non-compliance in crypto tax, though. This relates to the subsection about the revenue that could be made from collecting all these unreported gains that don't seem to exist. The authors begin by admitting that, quote, all this leaves little sense as to the amount of revenue at stake, whether for collection or evasion. They then cite a statistic from a study conducted using data from Chainalysis, which estimate that around 800 million euros of crypto taxes were not declared in 2020. This study seems to have relied on a long list of assumptions, never mind that it's completely out of date. And, believe it or not, but the authors resort to, quote, back-of-envelope calculations to try and prove that there's lots of crypto tax evasion. With a crypto market cap of $1 trillion, they assume an average gain of 5% and average tax rate of 20% and conclude that 10 billion USD of crypto tax is due. To add insult to injury, they extrapolate this to crypto's max market cap of 2.6 trillion and conclude that 26 billion USD of crypto tax is due overall. This is despite the fact that they cited a statistic earlier noting that there was an average loss of 75% according to the good old Bank for Central Banks. Seemingly realizing that they're not convincing anyone, the authors then pull a sleight of hand by switching the topic over to how much revenue could be raised if every crypto trade came with a tax of 0.1%. The mental gymnastics in this section are truly Olympic level, all because they can't prove there's crypto tax evasion going on. And the entire time, the authors insist that these are purely suggestions, not prescriptions. Heck, even
well, it's not really. I mean, when you convert to fiat, like that's like I'm assuming everybody's got to pay taxes at that point, right? Because it's gonna get reported no matter what, most of the time, anyways. I mean, it's going directly to your damn bank account, so you're foolish if you don't. I guess file that. Real quick in the chat, somebody said, "Has anyone ever declared crypto taxes?" Yes, actually, I do every year. You have to. I mean, you're supposed to, anyways, right? So I definitely advise you guys to make sure you take care of your taxes, do them properly. But yeah, I mean, just hold it longer than a year, and then you guys will, skirt the capital gains part, and at least you'll just be paying the 0 to 20% versus the 10 to 37% or whatever it is. So I don't know, but definitely pay your taxes, please. That's crazy.
They admit that, quote, these calculations are scandalously simplistic. They conclude the section by saying that tens of billions of dollars of tax revenue could be raised with all their ridiculous suggestions. This pertains to the fifth part of the report, which is about implementation. The authors start by talking about anonymity, even though they've already admitted that it doesn't really exist for most cryptos. They lament the fact that tax authorities can't tax every crypto transaction directly on-chain. They then note the importance of crypto intermediaries in, quote, dealing with anonymity. They applaud the imposition of KYC and AML at exchanges and the like, but say that it's not enough. They say it's because not all countries are complying with the Financial Action Task Force, or FATF. Now, if you've watched any of our videos about the FATF, you'll know that its endgame is to effectively kill crypto by labeling all non-intermediated activities as high risk. It's been ensuring compliance with its so-called recommendations by essentially blacklisting non-compliant countries from the financial system. And if that wasn't scary enough, the authors note that the infamous infrastructure bill passed in the US in 2021 requires, quote, a broadly defined set of digital service providers, potentially including even minors, report details of their customers' transactions to the IRS annually, starting in 2023. This is scary because it seems to confirm that tax authorities could go after crypto miners, something that the IRS denied it would do when the crypto industry pushed back on the poorly worded provision.
What? IRS won't go after Bitcoin miners regardless of broker definition reports? What? Yeah, all right. Yeah, all right. Don't believe that. Yeah, you guys got to make sure you do that stuff. You know what? So Coinly.io, now that like taxes are super simple for crypto, like why wouldn't you do it, right? It makes sense. Like Coinly.io is a good place. There's another one, I think, is it Coin Tracker? Is that the other site? I don't know. If you guys know of different sites, please throw it in the live chat for people in case they don't know.
If this is the case, then crypto miners in the US could be in for some pain when taxes come due. After unpacking a handful of international tax treaties that nobody has heard of and none of us voted for, the authors finally confirm that they're not concerned about tax compliance with centralized crypto intermediaries. They're concerned about tax compliance with decentralized crypto transactions. They note that one of the international tax treaties would require decentralized exchanges to report tax activity to authorities just like centralized exchanges, something that would probably kill DeFi. Thankfully, the authors admit that it's often difficult to tell what transactions are peer-to-peer or peer-to-exchange. That's why they float the frankly evil idea of requiring crypto miners and validators to report tax activity to authorities, something that would probably kill crypto entirely. They reiterate that there's lots of room for corrective taxes in this realm, but don't worry, they're not saying it should be done, they're just floating the idea. What's wild is that the authors then suggest using AI to ensure crypto tax compliance and even suggest using straight-up propaganda to the same end. This propaganda would come in the form of headlines and announcements claiming that authorities can track everything when they really can't. The authors go on to explain that as crypto payments become more popular, compliance with VAT will become more important than compliance with capital gains taxes, probably because it would make more money. It's easy to forget that tax authorities do a cost-benefit analysis on who and what to go after. The first step, the authors say, is to have all transactions above a certain threshold reported to tax authorities by law, something that the US also introduced in 2023 as a result of that infrastructure bill. In the US, the reporting threshold is $10,000. It will probably be smaller in other countries. The authors even hint that transactions above these thresholds that are not reported will result in such transactions being flagged. This means that you could experience friction when sending or receiving more than 10k USD worth of crypto on exchanges or other regulated crypto intermediaries. This brings us to the conclusion, wherein the authors start by saying that, quote, the future of cryptocurrencies is highly uncertain. Well, to no coiners, maybe. They reiterate that regardless of the outcome, global governments will want their pound of flesh and lots of oversight. That means taxes. The authors repeat that, quote, miners who do see every transaction in non-stable coins might in principle be given a role in tax reporting/withholding consistent with the general principle of tax administration favouring collection, where possible, at a relatively small number of upstream points. The authors then shamefully admit that they couldn't estimate how much tax evasion occurs in crypto, nor how much this amounts to in fiat terms. That doesn't stop them from saying that the tax revenue from crypto could be as high as $300 billion per year if every penny is accounted for. The authors also remind the reader that most of crypto's wealth is held in a few hands. They say that the focus of this paper was about how to pry any ill-gotten gains from the hands of these crypto elites, but from what we could see, it was just an excuse to bash Bitcoin and justify more government control. So this brings us to the big question, and that's which countries are the least likely to comply with the IMF's insane crypto tax proposals? The short answer is the countries that are least influenced by the IMF, which means the countries that have less allegiance with the United States. There are just a few caveats. For starters, many countries that aren't aligned with the US aren't exactly the nicest places to be. They tend to suffer from no shortage of other issues, namely authoritarianism. Chances are that they're going to roll out similarly insane crypto prescriptions of their own sooner or later. They just may not be tax-related. More importantly, many of the countries that have refused to comply with the mandatory suggestions made by organizations like the IMF have found themselves on the other end of some harsh economic and financial restrictions. This means that non-compliance will be difficult and could be very costly. One country that comes to mind here is Pakistan, which was reportedly required to ban crypto forever as part of a condition to get off the FATF's grey list. This sets a concerning precedent for pro-crypto countries that have been grey-listed and for countries that are thinking of becoming crypto hubs. The most concerning part about all of this is that the IMF is explicitly looking to weaponize taxes against the crypto industry. The IMF seems to be focused on Bitcoin mining in particular. This makes sense considering that Bitcoin is the most decentralized crypto and therefore the hardest to control. This could be the silver lining to the IMF's crypto tax ambitions. It's proof that the people in power are concerned that crypto will take some of their power away. Recall that the authors specifically mentioned using taxes to ensure that cryptos don't compete with domestic currencies. It's crazy to consider that the prospect of crypto competing with a national currency was out of the question even just a few years ago. Today, there are countries that accept crypto as legal tender. As many people have pointed out, this could force countries to tax some cryptos as currencies. That is, not at all. Come to think of it, mass adoption of a cryptocurrency to the point that it becomes recognized as an actual currency is a great way to sidestep this digital tax trap the IMF is trying to set. By the time it gets its ducks in a row, there will probably be more than one crypto that falls into this category. In the meantime, though, expect to see more countries offering favorable tax conditions to cryptocurrencies. As high as the risks of retribution are, the risks of sitting back and falling behind are even higher. The mass adoption of crypto is coming, and the countries that refuse to adopt it will be at a huge disadvantage, just like Fidelity predicted. More about that in the description.
Interesting.
And that, folks, is all for today's video. So if you found it informative, smash that like button to let me know.
Appreciate it, Mr. Guy over at Coin Bureau, guys. If you guys aren't subbed to him, I have a link to his video in the description below. Also, Mr. Alvidus was talking about different locations, and apparently, how, you know, you can skirt some certain taxes and stuff. Now, looking at Dominican Republic actually is one that doesn't have any capital gains for crypto, if you guys didn't know. So right here it says, despite its small size, Dominican Republic has long been thriving financial economy driven by many overseas businesses and entrepreneurs. The Republic offers a very favorable tax regime for Bitcoin investors, and in particular, there is no capital gains tax on profits derived from Bitcoin trading. So if you guys have a chance to move to the Dominican, there you go. There is that. All right, let's see what else do we got. Do you guys have any last questions before we actually wrap it up and get out of here? I do have to get back to daddy duty. You know, it's one of those things you got to do every day.
I want to make sure.
All right, let me let's go over here. Check out the market. Market's looking pretty good though. Overall market is looking fantastic. All right, let's see. Mr. Joker Miner. Figured out 1.75 and 2 playback speed for videos. Finally getting caught up from 4th of July week. Oh yeah, dude, that's brutal. That's see, when you listen to things that fast, it's like putting 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag. You physically cannot retain everything that is being said in that video. Let's see. BTC is the exact opposite of any other mineral in the world. If gold was in one mine and there was only 200 pounds of it since day one, imagine what the price would be over the past 20 years. That's a good point. Very good point, Crypto Frank. You're yeah, you're definitely not wrong. Definitely not wrong. Let's see. Unacceptable. It's hot out. We're not having a pool party at my house. But yes, I am actually digging out a spot for a pool. And it's a pain in the butt, but I'm like replanting my grass. You know how they have sod like in rolls you can buy at the store? I'm like cutting it out in sections myself and moving it to my front yard because I have like one problem area that drives me freaking nuts every single year. So that's what I've been doing the past couple days. So Yeti, I'll let you know about this afternoon's stream doing the crypto audits over here, yeti.uk. What does he have planned for today? Sky Doge. Look at this. So this is the site Mr. Yeti came up with for us. If you guys are interested, go check it out. I will put this in the live chat. This is an audit site for cryptocurrencies, right? So currencies that are more or less new, some that are old, but more or less the wallets, trying to make sure that we're safe. Want to make sure that you guys aren't getting viruses by downloading these core wallets, because core wallets can kind of be sketchy. And if there's sketchy devs, then, you know, shit can go sideways real quick, right? That's pretty much what I'm getting at. So either way, these are the ones we all did. Well, we already did audits on. As they do updates, Mr. Yeti does audits on the new wallets as well. But Sky Doge apparently is one of the next ones. We did Caspa last week. Caspa came out clean as a whistle. So pretty excited about that. And yeah, did we do Veriscoin yet? We did, right? Did we do Veriscoin? Am I wrong? Oh, right here. Duh. Logo. I thought it was blue. I thought the logo was blue. Why is it white? Am I wrong? Mr. Retro Mike in the chat. Isn't this supposed to be blue? Am I wrong? I thought it was blue. Anyways, I need to download this wallet myself personally because now I have those cell phones coming and I'm going to have a cell phone farm in my solar trailer. So that's going to be very interesting. And yeah, I don't know. Veriscoin came out pretty clean as a whistle as well. So I got to look into that a lot more. The V is blue. Oh, is it really? The V is supposed to be blue? Okay. It is blue. It's blue. Okay. I was like, what the hell? I'm like looking for blue, but yeah, I don't know. That's weird. Anyways, Sky Doge today. What is Sky Doge? What the like, where did this even come from? Is it on mining pool stats? Let's see. New coins. No, it's not there. Oh, that's the one that I was thinking. I thought you were talking about this one. Pepe 2 Pow, whatever the dude, this is so stupid. So stupid. Why? I don't understand it. I don't understand why people do that. Make new coins. Sky Doge. Just see if I can find anything on it. This is it. Sky Doge net. I'll open this one. Well, look at this one too. Sky Doge net. Is this it? Much Bitcoin. Such Doge. Very remember. What this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. What is happening? I'm gonna shit all over this today. Hopefully it's safe. Is it safe? They have mobile wallets, desktop wallets. Man, what's the plan today, Yeti? This is the plan. Holy shit. There's a lot of pools. God damn. Let's see. How much is it? Estimated coins. You have 1 mega hash. You get that. Interesting. So it's very, yeah, kind of irrelevant, right? 1 mega hash. You get 2 cents a day. That's so weird. Sky, where the hell did this even come from? Sky Doge. Let's look at, actually, I just go to CoinGecko real quick. I want to see if it's even on here. How long has it been out? Been out a while? No, apparently not. Coin market cap. Ugh. Sky Doge. Sorry, I'll look at the chat in a second. I'm just trying to see what the hell's going on here. No. Is it like brand new? How do you know when it came out? How do you know? Does it say down here? Oh, June 21st, 2023. Oh, so this is like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. What the hell? Interesting. Lots of Chinese pools. Really? For Sky Doge? Interesting. Yeah. No, is this the same site, right? Yeah, it's same site. Okay. Yeah, same stupid site. There's 210 billion, if anyone was wondering. That's ridiculous. God, I don't know. These coins, man. These coins drive me nuts. Way too many coins for me. I don't know. Meme coins are the worst. What's up, Dub Selector? Good to see you. All right, guys, we're gonna be getting out of here. Hopefully you guys have a good day. Don't forget, in the pinned comment, we have Retro Mike's link if you guys want those cell phones for mining Varus coin. They're on sale, 35 bucks a piece, and they're on Amazon. It's Prime Day, so if you guys have anything to purchase on Amazon, go see if it's on sale today. I literally saved. So I got one of those. Let me see. I'll show you guys the pool I got on real quick before we get out of here. Amazon. If I could type today, that would be helpful. All right, I got it's one of those Intex pools. I don't know if you know what they are. Intex pool. We got this guy right here. Hold on. Or I cannot find it. Let's see. Show you guys. Possibly. All right. Apparently it's not going to be here now. It's like this, but way bigger and way nicer. Intex pool. Let's see. 24 feet, maybe. This one right here. Look at this. So this pool, right? 1,600 bucks. Dude, I got it for $700 off. I was like, hell yeah. Why the hell wouldn't I buy that? It was 900 bucks. 900 bucks yesterday, and now it's back to 1,600. So we saved $700 in this pool that I purchased like the day before, and then I returned it because I was like, what the hell? Totally saving 700 bucks. Absolutely. So I just canceled it and rebought it. It's insane. Like, why not? But big pool, so I'm gonna put that thing in the ground. I think we're gonna see. It's gonna be a lot of digging though. I gotta do it by hand because there's no chance of the truck getting back there. It's gonna be very interesting. Very interesting. Let's see. Jump saved $600 in those pools, so he can buy $600 in phones. I bought 10. All right, we bought 10, but I can't. Yeah, I'm not gonna buy any more. Not any more than that. I don't, dude. The problem is plugging all the shit in. I'm gonna have to buy all this USB things. Like, you got, what do you have? Do you have like a powered USB hub? I assume, and then everything just plugs into that. I don't know. We're going to have to see how it goes. But in the crypto mining trailer, I think those phones would be pretty sick. All right. Anyways, guys, I got to get the hell out of here. So hopefully you guys all have a great day. Enjoy your Wednesday. Happy hump day. 2 more days till the weekend. And yeah, I'll see you guys probably this afternoon with my man Yeti doing the audit on Sky Doge. So until then, guys, have a good day and peace out.